How's it going, everyone? A week has passed. Now it's time for the update for this Topstep Challenge 50k account. We're also going to be taking a look at the ES and as well as the NQ for the coming week. There's going to be a lot of levels that you're going to want to look out for to find trading opportunities, and we're going to get into it right now. And then when all of that is done, I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Taking a look at our 4-hour chart on the NQ, you can see that we continue to see strength in the market. You see higher lows, and we also have higher highs. Another thing to take into consideration is the fact is that we've been struggling right at this 20,000 level. So getting a break above that 20,000 area, you want to be watching out, because the next area where we could have the sellers coming in will be right here around this 20,300 level. That is just a bigger overview picture. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come down to our 15-minute chart, and we're going to take a look at our levels that we had on the Friday and as well for the Thursday night, which is where the market opens. So the daily open on the market for the Nasdaq was at 19,000 to 620 area. The low of the day was at 19,591.75, and then we had the high of the day at 19,904.25. We had Jerome Powell that was speaking at the Jackson Hole. So that is why we had a lot of volatility right at near that open, right? So what we noticed right away, when Nasdaq got to the 900 level, it got rejected. And then as the day went on, after it had its sell-off, it tried to gain momentum above the 800 level, but it was unable to do that, right? Even going into the close, it was trying to make that attempt. It just would not happen. So seeing that the Nasdaq closed at 19,790.75, that is a key area of interest when the market opens up. If it is able to get above the price where it closed at, then we'd want to see if it can gain momentum above this 800 level. If the buyers are able to hold this area, then I could see another attempt going to the 900 area. Again, we have Nvidia that's going to be releasing earnings for this coming week. So as far as anticipation is concerned, if the bulls are trying to push it up, that is an area you want to watch. Especially, like I said, that 20,000 area where we got to on Thursday and got rejected and had a huge sell-off. These are areas you want to make sure you're paying attention to, framing your trades around so you can get the best risk to reward. So now, what if the Nasdaq decides to have its pullback and wants to come down further? What is the bearish case scenario here? So if the Nasdaq decides to sell off and then pretty much invalidate what is going on here, and what is going on here, you can see the higher lows from these wicks. So if we break and kill that pattern as far as for those higher lows, then I could see us coming down to the previous week high, which is at 19,683. But since the market loves going to whole numbers, 700 is the area you pretty much want to pay attention to. If we decide to sell off even further, it goes in the bear's favor. We come down to the daily open, and if we take out the lows that we had on the Friday, that's where it could get real interesting, to the point where if the market is deciding to sell off, then you'd want to see the bulls holding this 500 level. Giving up that 500 level, things get interesting. That's where it could really start seeing some momentum to the downside. As you can see on the chart, we don't have much consolidation or a lot of price action happening here. We could easily come down to the 300s and so on. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart on the ES, what we could see here, the market continues to be strong. We have higher lows and as well as higher highs. But when I look at the ES, it actually looks a lot better than the Nasdaq. It's doing a lot better. As you can see, it's getting very close to the all-time high level, right? So we're looking at that 5,620 area. A break above that, boom, we have new all-time highs on the ES. So now what we're going to do is go down to our 15-minute time frame and look at the key levels that we had on the Friday, which started on the Thursday night when the market opened up. So we could see that the price closed at 5,652.50. And then we had the high of the day at 5,662.25. And then we had the low of the day at 5,597.75. So what do we want to see for this coming week? So seeing that we close right at that 650 area, I'd want to see us getting back above that and holding that area. If we could hold that area, then we can have the next push back up to this 665 area, seeing if we can get to the 70 area. If we can get to the 70s, then I'd want to see the ES making that push again to get up to that 5700 area, okay? That is very important. That's what the bulls are going to want to be looking for. I don't know if they want to continue to see this thing consolidate like it did this past week, right? So that's something you want to watch. Now, as far as for the bear case scenario, very similar to the Nasdaq here. So you see on these wicks on our 15-minute chart how it's confirming how we have the higher lows. So if that pattern breaks below 644, you want to start watching that a little bit. And then if we're coming down to the 30 area, selling all the way down, will get very interesting here. And why, as you take a look at this 15-minute chart, we go right over here on the Thursday at 12:45 p.m. Look at that candle and how we just sold off, right? Going down to those lows. So just knowing that this is an area where there's going to have to be a decision made. So if it goes in the bear case scenario, we drop down, we can come all the way down to the 614 area. If we decide to give up that 614 and we decide to take out the lows of the day from the Friday, it can get very interesting. Then the bulls would have to step up here right at this 5,582. If they don't come in at 5,582, we could have a strong sell-off. We could start seeing ES into the 560s and going near to the quarterly open right here around this 530 level. Viewing the Topstep dashboard, what you can see for the current balance is at 51,244.74. So what that means is we are green on the week, being up $888. If you remember from the previous video, we were at 50,350. But if we look at the P&L high, it was at 52,209.74. So for this week, I was aggressive. I did say I was going to trade this in the morning, but I also do see that's a double-edged sword, and I'm going to explain that even further. So you can see the week was really, really good. We were stacking up green days back to back, taking these big wins, and then on the Friday, coming close to hitting the daily loss limit. That's why you can see that my worst day is at 965. So we went from being $800 away from hitting the target to having that day on the Friday. And to explain it is that, again, I have multiple funded accounts on Topstep. So I thought that I was trading my 150k expressive funded account. And then when I took a look and I saw wait a moment, I was actually on the 50k YouTube challenge. So it ended up being down 500 at first. Then I took some more trades to see if I could recover it, and it ended up losing an extra $400 and something, and I just said, you know what, forget about it. So I take full responsibility for that, but we're going to be focused on hitting this $53,000 target. So we've learned from that. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be a lot more focused in the sense of make sure what account I'm trading. Because with the 50k combine, hey, $1,000 daily loss limit. With the 150k express funded account, you have a $3,000 daily loss limit. So let's see what happens for this coming week. But overall, I feel confident since we switched up trading in the morning. You can see it's made quite the difference for the account. So overall, being up $888 for the week is pretty good, especially since the focus is taking our time with it. If I didn't have that small hiccup, we would have been $800 away from the target. But I look at it as a blessing in disguise because, again, the whole idea is to take our time with this challenge. And as far as for this coming week, again, NVIDIA has earnings on August the 28th. So this is going to bring a lot of volatility in the markets. So you want to make sure you know your levels. So I hope you took notes while we were going over it. So I'll see you guys next week and good luck for this coming trading week.